The 2021-22 NFL schedule has finally been revealed, which includes our own Green Bay Packers. We'll dive into the now 17 weeks of glorious football for this fall and make our predictions about the upcoming season. We'll also hear from you, the best Green Bay fan community out there. All next on this edition of your Packers Fan Podcast.
Thanks again for joining us on the Packers Fan Podcast, the show by and for fans of your 13-time NFL champion Green Bay Packers. Wayne Henderson here, and I can't stop thinking about all the great games coming up on the Packers schedule. In fact, you might say it's always on my mind. The schedule's always on my mind. And granted, that's nowhere near as good as Scott Clark's Talk Like a Fan last season, but...
I'm just glad you get to sing and you didn't have to lose a bet to do it. But
hey,
by the way,
there you go.
By the way, my students have got a hold of the Talk Like a Fan recording on YouTube, and they just love to randomly play it in the middle of my online teaching sessions. So that's always a good time. It cracks me up. If you haven't guessed already, I am Scott Clark from the Gaming Outsider, and you know what? It may be baseball season, but we're definitely still feeling that football bug. On this 227th episode of the Packers Fan Podcast, we finally have a game schedule to talk about, and yes, 17 games. All 17 games we'll talk about.
We're also going to share your voicemails, emails, and feedback from our Packers Fan Podcast Facebook group. Y'all had a lot of very insightful things to say, and we're going to share them this evening. And now that we know who the Packers are going to play and when, let's talk a bit about that 17-game Packers schedule, Scott.
Yeah, let's do it. This was actually the first time I really took a close look at it. When it was released, I kind of glanced over it. I don't know. The schedule is one of those things that's it's hard to really. It's so early in the season. I feel like I've forgotten which teams are what and who's playing where with all the trades and everything. So I've got to get in the mindset of football because I'm not joking. I'm in like baseball mindset right now. So
I can tell you're wearing a Brewers jersey right now, representing.
Absolutely, Brewers. It is a Cecil Cooper jersey, by the way. Fans of the Brewers will remember that player. My favorite player from when I was a kid. But the first thing that stuck out to me is I always like it when a season starts with that opener being against a division rival. That kind of bummed me out. I mean, you know, it's the Saints. That's all well and good and everything, but I just always wanted to be one of our division rivals just to make it a little bit more interesting, kick off that season. But we'll have some fun there.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree, and it's good to. You know, after winning week one, we would be up on the division already, probably in first place in the NFC North. But, oh well, we'll have to do it the hard way this year.
Well, I mean, on the bright side, the home opener will be against the Detroit Lions. So we'll have, you know, a division at home at least that's for week 2, which is good. Also, did you notice how many of the home games are at 12 noon Central Time?
Yeah, 1.
Yeah, there's a lot of 3 o'clock games for us this year, which seems out of character. I feel like we're almost always playing at noon our time. I know you're a couple hours behind us, you Californians, but yeah, lots of only 1 noon game at home. That's interesting, but I'm really excited about the game on Christmas. You know, we get to play on Christmas. We never get to play on holidays. I feel like maybe in a Thanksgiving here and there, but.
Yeah, that's true. And it's going to be weird because I know basketball always plays on Christmas. The NFL always plays a lot on Thanksgiving. But that's going to be very interesting. And I wonder if the reason that they moved so many of the Packers home games to the later starts, not even counting the Sunday night, Thursday night, Monday night games and all of that is, you know, that gives the Packers fans 3 more hours of tailgating.
It could be. Could be. It's tougher to tailgate at home, but we can figure out ways to make that happen, right? Also, I notice I tend to always look at the divisional games. You know, that's kind of where my mind goes because that's where we really have to shine the most. That's you're getting an extra half a game with each win or loss, right? And those games are pretty evenly spaced out. We don't play any division rivals back to back, which is interesting. But the back half of the season, we're playing somebody at least every couple weeks, especially that last quarter of the year. There's just nothing but division rivals, which could mean the end of the season could get interesting in a number of different ways, depending on how things shake.
Exactly. Did any particular game stick out to you as being, oh, that one's going to be a tough one?
I mean, Kansas City. It seems like the easy choice for toughest. I mean, I know they didn't win last year, but they were still real solid. You know, Mahomes has been injured, but I'm sure he'll be well on his feet before we even see them. But do we play San Francisco just every year now? Is that just a thing?
I believe it is. For a while, we were playing the Seahawks every year.
I don't remember the last season we didn't play the 49ers, at least since I've been doing this show. Like, come on. Yeah. I'm tired of playing the 49ers.
I'd like to think that we were not going to have to play them this year, except for the fact that we're playing everybody in the NFC West. So we will be playing the Seahawks and the 49ers. Granted, that Kansas City game will probably be the toughest road game. To me, what jumps out is what might be, we don't know how it's going to shake out, obviously, might be the toughest home game is November 28th. It's a Sunday, 1:25 Pacific time, when the Rams are coming to Lambeau Field with, Matthew Stafford, right?
Yeah, I could see what he could do with
weapons
under a different team. Not to mention Gurley's still a Ram, right?
No. Gurley's moved on over a year ago.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, can you tell him in baseball season, man?
Yeah, come on, football. They hike it. They get 4 downs.
There's a quarterback, right?
Most of the time.
I mean, hey, Chicago's got one now, so can't knock them too bad. I don't know. It seems like a well-rounded schedule. I feel, we didn't play Washington last year because I would have remembered, the Washington football team. So that's going to be an interesting matchup there. Lots of good games. It's going to be a good season. The Ravens, towards the end of the season, could be exciting.
In Baltimore, that could be tough.
In Baltimore, that could be really tough. I'm just ready to get going, man. It's 17 weeks though. I'm still baffled by that.
At the rate they're going, the Super Bowl will be a spring football game if they push it out much further.
Well, hey, look on the bright side. If the Super Bowl does become spring, then maybe they can actually have it at Lambeau. It can be outdoor. The warmer it gets.
I like the way you think there, Scott.
Yeah, let's do it.
Another thing that jumped out is after the trip to Kansas City, between the home games at Lambeau Field and the other road games, we're not really leaving the Midwest or the East Coast area at all. Baltimore, that's probably about as far as we go until the playoffs. We don't have any long trips out west or even to the mountain time zone in the second half of the season. So that's kind of nice.
That's a really good point, actually. Yeah, I mean, even with Baltimore, that's an hour ahead. It's not like that 2-hour difference wasn't that an issue a couple seasons ago where we were traveling to California and worrying if we got there too late and didn't give them enough rest time? That's not going to be an issue now.
Well, not in the second half, but in the first half when we go to Frisco week 3 on a semi-short week after playing Monday Night Football, and then of course a Thursday night game on a very short week going to Arizona to play the Cardinals. I'm hoping to go to that game. I'm a little bit bummed it's on a Thursday night, but maybe I need a 4-day weekend from work.
That sounds like a plan, man. I'd go to Soldier at this point. What do you think is the maybe easiest game on the schedule here?
Wow. Easiest game. Just on the surface, I would think it might be the home opener hosting the Lions.
I was going to say either of the Vikings games.
How about the Bengals? Depending on if their quarterback's all the way healed and ready to get back into action, maybe.
That's going to be key. I still think that Minnesota and Detroit would be easier, but who knows? Who knows?
What if in mid-January we're looking back on the season and our biggest blowout victory turned out to be in Kansas City?
Oh, that'd be glorious. As long as it just continues for the rest of the season and gets us into the playoffs. That's really all that matters, right?
True.
Also, it looks like we got basically a bye week in between the end of the preseason for all teams prior to the opening day game in New Orleans. So, before we always had preseason games weeks leading up to it. Now we actually have a week off to get ready before the season officially kicks off. That's nice.
I think it is nice, especially if something unfortunate happens and a starter actually plays in one of the preseason games and gets a little banged up, there is that mini bye week because there's only the 3 preseason games. So
right.
I'll take it. It's just something that seems kind of weird. And speaking of bye weeks, our regular season bye week is week 13. That's one of the latest that I can ever remember.
How you feeling about a late one as opposed to early? Like, I feel like we get the early ones in the past.
For me, Scott, I like it. I think that if we can make it to that part of the season relatively unscathed, I think that'd be the perfect time to rest up for the final 5 or 6 games heading into the playoffs and just go in with gusto. Because when you get the bye week, like week 5, it's you know you got a long road to hoe ahead of you. How about you?
I agree. It really makes that beginning of the season feel like a preseason instead of instead of the first half of the season or something like we're going to get this year, which is great. It also gives us a good opportunity to come out the gate swinging. If we can just treat that first half of the season like the beginning of the playoffs, and then kind of just let the rest fall into place, that's going to be an amazing start to the season. So I'm looking very forward to it. I'm ready for some football, even though it's not quite summer yet. But we're so close, you can taste it.
I am totally ready. And 5 primetime games between Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, and even Thursday Night Football. We're going to be seeing a lot of the Packers this season. And maybe with those later games, instead of so many home noon central start times, that'll give us the opportunity for them to possibly be the Fox game of the week and more of a chance that we can watch it at home if we're not going to the game instead of trying to track down the closest sports bar that might be open. But it seems like with things opening up, we'll get to see all these games, and I'm excited.
I miss going to the bar to watch the games, man. I miss going to the bars in general. So, going to see a Packer game just makes it all that much more exciting. So
that's the best part of going to the bar. So that wraps up what we thought about the season. We're going to get to your thoughts in just a second, but we want to let you know that if you want to buy some officially licensed Packers related merchandise, maybe get your Jordan Love jersey early, or with full confidence buy yourself a brand new Aaron Rodgers jersey or any of the other players, we do have an affiliate link through fanatics.com. If you use it to make your order, we do get a small finder's fee. It's never too early. Even if you're still thinking about baseball like Mr. Scott Clark, never too early to get ready for the upcoming football season. We'll have the link in the episode notes at PackersFanPodcast.com, as well as in most of your podcast players. We'll have it available there as well. But let's go ahead and see what the listeners had to say about the upcoming Green Bay Packers football schedule.
Hey guys, this is Hank from TPE Network calling in about the Packers schedule for 2021. When you look it over, there's some tough games on there. Primarily, it looks like the NFC West will try their hand at the Packers, but I think the Packers are going to come away with a lot of W's as long as Aaron Rodgers is still in town, that is. An Aaron Rodgers-led Packers team, I think, is going to make a lot of hay on this schedule and probably sweep the NFC North and take care of some of the bad teams that are showing up on the schedule as well. In those tough matchups, I think the Packers will get it done, and I would not be surprised to see them get at least as far as they got last season, as long as Aaron Rodgers is there, or make it all the way to the Super Bowl. You got to admit, if Aaron does stay in town, he's probably going to have some extra fire this season, and I bet his teammates will follow suit. As always, love the podcast, guys. Until next time, see ya.
Thanks so much, Hank. He's had a lot of if statements in there, and there's a really big if that's been hanging around the Packers for the past, about month now since the draft. You'll notice that Wayne and I haven't talked a whole lot about that. And from the texting back and forth that we've done, we've pretty much decided we're going to wait to hear from the man himself or from the Packers organization, because like I mentioned in our last episode when we talked about the draft, I am so tired of speculation. I am tired of seeing somebody actually texted me. My friend in Ireland texted me a screenshot that he found online of, here's the possible trade things for Denver. And I'm like, okay, all speculation. all speculation. The best we've got is we've heard LaFleur say they really want to keep Rogers, and they hope that it happens. The fact that we're saying that is a little nerve-wracking, but I hate to be that guy and say it again this week, but we're gonna wait till we hear actual news, and then we'll talk about it. Are you with me, Wayne?
Oh, absolutely, because the Broncos trade rumor, that's the rumor that will not die.
I mean, I actually saw players and which pick needed to be traded to make it an even trade, and I'm like, okay.
Well, you knew once fantasy football got huge that fantasy trade rumors would be the next hot ticket.
Oh, there you go. There's some good money in that, right?
So good to hear from you, Hank. We appreciate your call. And, he did talk about in one of his if statements putting the Packers in the Super Bowl.
Which makes Wayne very happy.
I am smiling right now. It's so good. But yeah, it's going to be a tough schedule, but it's doable. Very, very doable. One game at a time. That's what we like to do. So give us a call again, Hank. Of course, we probably won't have another episode of the Packers Fan Podcast until preseason, unless, of course, something crazy happens. We'll have an emergency episode.
Who knows? There's something going on over at ESPN next week. We could have some news to talk about next week. We'll have to wait and see.
Hey, Wayne and Scott, this is your cheesehead from Indianapolis, Dan, calling in to discuss the 2021 schedule release. I am so stoked for this season to come around. Starts in August with preseason, going into September for the regular season. It doesn't matter who's under center, but we are going to have a great season. I'm fully confident that we are going to have a winning season, and we are, again, going to see the playoffs. First point, we have the fourth most difficult schedule with 10 games facing opponents who were in the playoffs last season. Second point, Week 8 begins a long stretch of hard games, hard opponents, where we have a short week coming off of playing the WTF team, and we're going into Arizona with only 4 days of rest, and then getting a 10-day break before facing the favorites to win the Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs, playing in Kansas City at Arrowhead, one of the hardest places you could play. And that's off of one of the other hard places to play at in New Orleans in Week 1. But I digress. After we play the Kansas City Chiefs, then we have to go on the road again to US Bank Stadium and face the Vikings. Boo. Then back home again to play another favorite in the NFC. The Los Angeles Rams will have another familiar face with Matthew Stafford playing quarterback. That's a long stretch, and as we Wisconsinites say, hoofda. Now there are only 6 noon Central Standard Time games, meaning that most games will be available to those of us like myself who are out of the market. Unless flex scheduling comes into play, where I saw there were 2 games against, one game against Detroit and 1 game against Chicago that could be flexed out of primetime. And we do have 5 primetime games, which are the most the NFL allows to have. You hear time and time again that we have to get off to a fast start. Now, there will be no Drew Brees in New Orleans. Second game, we're home versus the Lions with Jared Goff under center. Then we got a rookie quarterback at San Francisco. A tough one against the ageless wonder in Ben Roethlisberger at the Steelers, but that's at home. And then we travel across the southern part of Lake Michigan to the the Bengals. And possibly, they may even be still without quarterback Joe Burrow. He had a bad injury last year. I wish him the best, and hopefully he'll be back at that game, because in order to be the best, you have to beat the best. And I don't want somebody's second string if it's all possible. And then after the Cincinnati game, we have the Bears with another rookie quarterback, with Justin Fields. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm not too confident with any Big Ten quarterbacks. I can't think of any Big Ten quarterbacks who've made any significant splash here in the recent history. And then after the Bears, like I mentioned earlier, we got the Washington football team, and they're either going to be having Tyler Heineke, I think he was a Division II quarterback with Old Dominion University down there in Virginia, or Mr. Fitzmagic. I think that it's a great beginning stretch. We have our bye week in Week 13, which is why that fast start is so important, because the bye week is coming in so late that it's going to be important to have that rest at that point so that we can go into the last 4 games of the season and win all of those to end the regular season and go into the playoffs on a positive note. I see our Green Bay Packers. I'm not no Pollyanna. I don't have rose-colored glasses, but I see ourselves going 5-1 in the division with our sole loss to the Minnesota Vikings at US Bank Stadium, and 13-4 overall with losses to Arizona, Kansas City, the Rams, and like I said, Minnesota, where that'll put us at the number 2 seed behind Los Angeles Rams. That's all I have to say for now. And those final 2 words, go, Pack, go!
Excellent work, Dan. Thanks so much for your voice message. And ending with those 2 words, go, Pack, go, because the second go is a repeat. It's actually the same word. So that's why it's 2 words. He explained it to me.
I was 1 or 2. I was counting on my fingers.
Oh, there you go. But Dan, so good to hear from you. No rose-colored glasses on Dan. He's going with a 13-4 prediction for the season.
I'll take it. I'd take it.
Number 2 seed behind the Rams. So if that comes to play, even before the Packers play in LA in the Super Bowl, maybe I'll have to go down to Los Angeles for the NFC Championship game.
There you go.
That'd
be good.
That sounds like a road trip for Scott Clark right there.
to Los Angeles? Yeah, that's a road trip.
Wouldn't you like to get out of the Illinois area in late January, early February?
Probably. It probably will be pretty chilly then. I will say that I can attest to the hoofta remark.
I've not heard that.
I don't know if we always pronounce it oofta, not hoofta, like with an H. It's just like UFTA, oofta.
And it kind of, how do you describe what it means?
It's just like a, oh boy, oh geez, oh no,
oh yeder hey,
oofta, oh yeder hey. We go in the woods and we shoot some bear, eh? Oofta.
And the bear's still, well, Dan is stoked. He thinks we're going to have a winning season no matter who is under center, and I love to hear that. And
I know we keep avoiding the name.
Well, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. Spoilers. Good point about a lot of our games being against teams that were in the playoffs last year, which of course makes it tough. Kansas City's going to be tough, a hard stadium to play in as a visitor. I can imagine that game not only getting the most votes is the hardest game for the Packers this year. I also think that Packers at KC might be one of the highest priced tickets to buy on the secondary market this season.
Well, yeah, it'll be sponsored by, State Farm Insurance, right?
Drake from State Farm.
Drake from State Farm.
He might be there.
Again, if, somebody is under center, we'll see.
Well, hey, maybe State Farm's in talks with all sorts of other quarterbacks.
And probably got to get somebody else.
And a good reminder that the late season games that might be in prime time aren't necessarily locked in at that time. They could be flexed out if, the opponents we're playing turn out to stink, or vice versa. Some of the games that we have late in like December, early January might be flexed into prime time. And I totally forgot that Fitzmagic is on yet another team. He's now on the WFT, Washington football team. Dude gets around. And Dan, if you need any rose-colored glasses, I've got a pair. So,
are they going to name that team, or are we just going to continue with Washington football team?
They said that that's going to be their name for at least this season, and they're actually supposedly leaning into keeping it, which I think is stupid.
Yeah. Imagine if we had a baseball team that was, I don't know, the Madison baseball team. It just sounds so, I don't know.
I'm just picturing when generic products first really hit the scene in the early 80s, the white can with the black stripe. And so it would just say cola or aspirin, Yep. So I'm picturing they should change to a black and white scheme and have white uniforms that just have a black word that says football.
I like it.
It's crazy.
That should be a little bit more interesting.
So now let's talk a little bit about our favorite game. What game are we most excited about? Not just what's going to be the hardest or the easiest. maybe the easiest one is the one you're most excited about. I don't know. So we had a poll in our Facebook group, which you can find at PackersCommunity.com, as well as on Twitter at Packers Fan Pod. Which game on the season are you most excited to see? We did get a lot of write-in votes, but basically week 1, Packers at Saints. Week 9, Packers at KC. Week 16, Christmas Day, hosting the Browns. Week 14, when the Bears come to Lambeau for their annual beatdown. Week 12, the Rams at Lambeau. Week 4, the Steelers are coming to town. And week 5, Green Bay at Cincinnati. Those were the main contenders. What one of those or other game really is the one you're most excited to turn on your television or go to the sports bar and watch the Packers play in?
I know a lot of people are going to say KC, but I'm telling you, man, playing football, watching Packer football on Christmas Day is one of my favorite things. Any holiday. I feel like whenever we get to play on Thanksgiving, that's always a lot of fun. I don't remember the last time we played on Christmas Day. I mean, I know it happened, but it's just been, I just can't remember specifically. And I'm one of those guys that is lucky enough to have a wife and in-laws that love to watch Packers football as much as I do. So there's not any question about what we're going to be doing on Christmas Day, and we get to all watch the game together. So do our Christmas thing in the morning, have a good, meal, ham and yams and all that kind of good stuff for lunch. And then the rest of the day is football. And I absolutely can't wait. So that's my most anticipated game, just for the sheer family aspect of it. How about you?
For me, it's the same game, but not so much because it's on Christmas. I hope all the family activities can be worked out. It's a long ways away. Plans are being made. But since I'm here on the West Coast, it's at an even earlier time, so I think it's going to work out pretty good. But I'm mostly looking forward to that game because the Browns are coming to Green Bay. And I think that's going to be a game full of a lot of fun. Might even be a Super Bowl preview game. So there's something else to pay attention to.
The Browns? Really?
Hey, you heard it here on the Packers Fan Podcast. Browns, Packers, Super Bowl in Los Angeles. Get your tickets, people.
Oh, man. I think you're crazy, but I hope you're right.
Well, the votes that came back, the winner that people are most excited to see with 47% of the vote, Packers at KC. Followed close, well, actually not close at all. Week 16, the Packers hosting the Browns. So there's some other excited people. Followed then with a tie, three-way tie, Packers at Saints, 10%, Rams at Lambeau, 10%, and Steelers, 10%. And then we also had Bears at Lambeau with 4% and Green Bay at Bengals at 3% of the vote.
I don't know. A lot of people are excited about Packers at KC. I'm more nervous about that game than excited. That's going to be a chewing my fingernails week for sure. But we had some comments on this poll as well. From Twitter, Josh K is hoping to go to the Packers-Steelers game, saying, "My dad is a Steelers fan. Of course, I also live in Kansas City, so maybe that one too." Jared also commented and said, "I picked LA at Green Bay. I want to see how Stafford does against Green Bay now that he has a strong supporting cast, LOL." That's a really good point, actually. It'd be good to see what he's got with someone else on his team. So
we got another comment that ended with LOL. Janelle, the home game against Seattle because it's on my birthday and I better get a birthday victory, LOL.
Oh, yeah.
I love that comment. And Dictus in the Netherlands, I really look forward to each and every one of these games. I thought about picking week 1, not because of the Saints, but because it signifies football is back. And I thought about picking one of the division games. I even thought about picking the Seahawks game because I'm still holding a big grudge. But in the end, I'm picking the at Bengals game because my girlfriend is a Bengals fan and we will crush them without mercy.
Oh, man.
I love it.
I can't imagine being with a significant other that cheers for another team like that. My wife flat out told me she wouldn't have married me if I were a Bears fan. So you're lucky there, Dictus. He also added, way too early for predictions. 11-6 feels weird. 17 games, and once again, proud NFC North champs. But this one is tricky. Could also go 13-4. Could also drop to 9-8 and hope for a wild card. I do think it will be a winning record in the end. The early stretch is brutal with the away games and travel, but depending on a hot start, 2-0 should be all right. The Monday makes it a shorter week before the San Francisco West Coast game, so that will be tricky. Again, sigh. And at Cardinals later in the first half of the schedule is also a shorter week of prep. I think we'll lose both games, not because of that. They're tough games as they are, but it sure doesn't help. I love how there's 4 out of the last 6 games at home. Let's hope for some cold, snowy Packer football. The Week 13 bye, don't know how I feel about that, but honestly, you don't know when you'll be needing it the most. Yes, I'm counting on AR-12, and he had a little goat emoji, to lead us into battle next year. Next year, not so sure. So depending on the pandemic, travel restrictions, I might just need to finally make a trip across the pond to Lambeau Field. Here's to hoping that will work out somehow. I know it's just a bunch of dates, but I'm getting more excited about the upcoming season when we finally can talk football again instead of the clickbaity rumor mill stuff. In closing, go Pack Go, green and gold till I'm dead and cold. Thank you so much, Dictus. That's awesome. If you make your way over here, you best be hitting us up, man. It'd be nice to meet you in person.
That would be fantastic. I hope you do get to come across and make it to Lambeau Field. And yeah, he says a winning record, whether it's 9-8, 13-4, 11-6. We didn't have our way too early to predict season ending stats. What are you kind of feeling? Just kind of taking a quick look at the schedule, Scott.
Boy, like if I just had to give you the record right here, 17 games.
Right here, right now.
Oh, boy, man. I'd have to look at it again. I'm thinking of which games I think we're going to lose. I think we'll lose 1, 2, let's see. I'm trying to see which ones we'll lose. 3, 4, 5. I'll say we'll lose 6 games. So was that 11 and 6? Don't shake your head at me.
I can't believe you're picking 6 losses.
I'm just being a realist, man.
Any surprise losses that makes it add up to 6?
No, I think you just seem like flabbergasted that we might lose. We don't know what's going to happen in this season, man. We got 4 quarterbacks we're sitting on right now, so who knows what's going to happen.
So basically, your prediction of being 11-6 would be if Jordan Love is our quarterback this season, or Blake Bortles.
Yes, for sure. Maybe 12-5, if otherwise.
Wow.
I just like to make you squirm in your chair, man.
It's crazy. And I would not be surprised if the Steelers game is our easiest game of the year. That team did not look anything like themselves, especially when the Browns demolished them in the first half of that playoff game last year. And it's at Lambeau Field.
That's true. Super Bowl rematch.
And sure, tough games. KC, Rams might be tough, or maybe they won't be. Ravens bound to be a tough game because it's in Baltimore, especially. These are all winnable games.
I mean, they're all winnable. Any given Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Or Monday, or Thursday, or Saturday.
I think it's possible we win all these games.
Of course you do. Of course you do, man.
Oh, man. So anyway, more to come on that. But we also had some additional fabulous feedback on the Packers Fan Podcast Facebook community group. Again, you can find that the easy way at packerscommunity.com. Wanted to send out thanks to Miguel from the Opposites Attract podcast for the shout out he gave to the Packers Fan Podcast on his show that he does with his wife, Sonia. And then he took a clip of him promoting us and put it in the Facebook group. So
nice.
That was very nice indeed. And Brett in the UK is very excited about the game schedule, saying it's a tough one. That late bye week as well could be perfect timing with it being that late. I think 11-6, that would be a realistic goal. I'll take anything better than that.
See, look at that. I'm not crazy, Wayne. Captain Pollyanna. Sir Troy Heinrichs also posted, I want to go on record and say that if anyone says the Packers haven't done enough for Aaron, they are wrong. Or that the Packers wasted his career, also wrong. 1 Super Bowl, 5 NFC Championship games, 10 playoff appearances, 7 division titles, and back-to-back 13-3 seasons for the Goody era is not hardly wasting his career. Getting to the Super Bowl is hard, and the Packers have had chances for the last decade. At some point, the players need to step up and play. That is all. By the way, I would highly recommend checking out that post on Facebook for some very spirited replies.
There were conversations. That's for sure. Let's talk a little bit about the Packers Fan Podcast MVPs, because we have the value for value model here on the show. Everything you pledge goes back into the show one way or another, whether it's to hosting costs, software we have to rent, some of the swag that we send out to the people that have the higher support levels for rewards. Details on how you too can be an MVP supporter at patreon.com/Packers Fan Podcast. We want to give a special stadium level Go Pack Go out to Dan Dyler for supporting the show at the Jim Ringo monthly pledge level. Also, listener Bryant, Go Pack goes to you and yours for all of your Willie Wood level Patreon support. It's coming in clutch. And thank you and Go Pack Go to the AR12 level supporters in the Texas-only Green Bay Packers Fanatics.
And how about some Go Pack Goes for our Brett Favre level Patreon supporters? We have a brand new Brett Favre inspired support in Colm Nolan from Ireland. Also Miguel Ramirez from Opposites Track Podcast, Lawrence Harvey, Jeff Summerfield, and Andre in LA. Go Pack Go also for these epic Curly Lambeau level monthly supporters, Joe Christensen, Matt Haig, Hank Davis from the TPE network of podcasts, and Beth Mentink. Also, if you'd like to check out the Packers Fan Podcast Patreon, you can do so and see all the different levels and possible rewards at patreon.com/Packers Fan Podcast. Thanks again for all of your support. Wayne, you got some emails for us.
Yes, we do have some emails. Thank you very much for sending them in to feedback@PackersFanPodcast.com. First up, Ginger from SoCal. Go Pack Go, and super excited for the start of another season. Not leading with another team from our division seems strange, but playing New Orleans is always a good game. As someone on the West Coast, excited to see all these nationally televised evening games. And I just panicked. I saw Packers signing Blake Bortles on the ESPN news feed. I'm nervous every time quarterback news comes out of Green Bay. Keep up the great work, guys, and Go Pack Go. Ginger from SoCal.
Also, hey, Wayne and Spicy Scott. Spicy Scott. Is this who I think it is? Stephen Verheeren checking in from Palace Park, Illinois, where the hometown Chicago Bears still, well, you know. I want to start with the ongoing drama between Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. In an interview with Colin Cowherd on the 10th, Davante Adams talked, if the Packers don't bring back Aaron Rodgers, then they could lose him after the season. I would like to wish Andre from LA a very happy birthday. This is your birthday song. It is not very long. And may you have a Go Pack Go for every year of your life. I don't know if that's how the song goes, but what I like most about the game schedule is that the Packers will have a division game coming out of the bye week. That's a good point. Altogether, the Packers have only 5 games at noon Central, and only one of those is at Lambeau Field. The rest are either night games or at 3:25 p.m., which could mean we could have a lot of games with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on the call, which I know will make a lot of Packer fans angry.
If nothing else, it makes you want to say, oofta.
I hate that the Packers are playing their home opener on Monday Night Football. And how about this for a surprise that the Packers have a game at night at Lambeau Field with every team in the division? That's a good catch. What I do like is coming out of the bye, we will be playing Chicago Bears at home on Sunday Night Football, so the curse is over. As I have noticed, the last 2 seasons, the Packers have gone to the NFC Championship game and then would lose the NFC Championship game to the same team that they played and lost to coming out of the bye week. Good catch. I challenge Wayne and Spicy Scott to figure out their 2021-22 Wager of Fun bet and announce it on the podcast where they preview the first regular season game. Go Pack Go, Go Pack Go, Go Pack Go. I assume there's a lot more of those on that email. Stephen Verheeren. Yeah, we have no idea what we're going to do this season.
We'll figure it out. There's a lot going on between now and then. But as far as the mention earlier in the email about what Davante Adams said on Colin Cowherd, that's not how I actually took Davante's comments, but I'm sure everything's going to be fine. Everybody's in the heat of the moment and yada, yada, yada. I'm not watching anything on Colin Cowherd.
I didn't even know he was still relevant, to be honest with you. That's how much I pay attention to those kinds of personalities. But Anyway, regardless, thank you all for your calls, emails, comments, and support. If you would like to join the Packers Fan Podcast Facebook community and be part of the conversation at packerscommunity.com, be sure to head over there. There's bound to be a lot of things to talk about as we go through training camp. And speaking of, did you see any of the rookies play at training camp, man? I've been reading about them.
I did see some of the clips and some of the interviews with them on YouTube. It's just great to see them already in Packers uniform and out there getting some work.
I liked, remind me, oh boy, Rogers. Is that the wide receiver, Amari Rogers? He's taken the number 8 because he was number 3 in college, but he couldn't be number 3 because that number's already retired. So he basically said that he chose the number 8 because it's his full dream coming full circle. If you think about it, an 8 is the 3 with the two ends closed to make 2 circles. So
almost like the infinity symbol and all of that
too.
Which I should have caught after all those years of watching Revenge and podcasting about it with Sir Troy Heinrichs. I didn't know that was the reason. I knew that they had, kind of changed the rules and opened up jersey numbers to all different positions on the field. And so it's just confusing. I have to embrace the new normal, which includes all sorts of people wearing numbers that normally would be for quarterbacks.
Hey, what you gonna do? It's all good. I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool, and I'm just hearing lots of positive things about those guys. And speaking of numbers, I know we talked about Bortles being signed, but did you know we also signed Kurt Benkert this week? He was the second-year quarterback out of University of Virginia. He's actually taking the number 7. So he's got Don Majkowski's old number.
That number's not retired?
Would you really?
I loved Don Majkowski.
I love Don Majkowski, but I don't know if he was retirement number worthy, was he?
Well,
but
it would take a lot of things for Kurt, no offense, to be on the field other than in the preseason. So
I just thought it was interesting. That's our 4th quarterback now that we have. We've got Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, Blake Bortles, and Kurt Benkert.
Well, you know what that's called, Scott? That's hedging your bets.
Yeah, pretty much.
Plans. And Scott, you know how you said you didn't want to talk much about all the drama, the rumors, and all that nonsense? You wanted to hear something from the man himself, right? Mr. AR12. Yes. Well, it looks like we will. This coming Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern time, it was announced just about an hour before we started recording the show that Kenny Mayne, my favorite guy on ESPN, he's I guess he's a casualty of the cap space or something is how he put it. He's leaving ESPN or being asked to leave. Anyway, his final show on ESPN is this coming Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And he sent out a tweet just about an hour ago announcing that on his final episode, among other people, he's going to have Aaron Rodgers 12.
You think that'll be the time to talk, or is he just going to sidestep it?
Well, you'll hear something from the man himself. Will it be in regards to his future as a quarterback, where he's playing, retiring, not retiring, going to the Broncos? Odds are, I'm willing to bet he's going to sidestep the whole thing. But in the tweet, it does say at the very bottom, viewer discretion is advised. Because
I noticed that. I wonder what that meant.
That means Kenny's funny. So,
all right. Well, there you have it, man. If you also want to give you a reminder, if you love video games as much as I do, I have another podcast called The Gaming Outsider, where we chat about my favorite hobby every single week. And this week, we discussed video games that have morality choices in them. It was a really interesting discussion, man. I highly recommend you check it out. Wayne, you're looking at me like you have no idea what I'm talking about.
No.
But there's some...
I have something to say about it because I'm looking forward to hearing this discussion. I think that's going to be a really good episode to listen to at the gamingoutsider.com because, the morality when you're playing like in Pokemon Go, trying to decide, should you bring your Ditto into a legendary battle? Should you? I don't know. Is he going to get demolished or can he switch into that other Pokemon soon enough? And then, of course, in Wizards Unite, you've got witches, wizards, spells, and all that good stuff. I'm sure that those are the main topics of discussion, but other morality plays will be discussed as well, right?
I love how every video game discussion just somehow focuses around Pokemon Go with you. That's, I think, the only video game that exists in your world.
That and Wizards Unite. I know I need to branch out more, and that's why when I get my new iPad, like I mentioned previously, I'm going to be doing a lot of virtual pinball. But
yeah, you are, man. We'll do some scores comparing. But also, we actually have a brand new co-host over at the Gaming Outsider podcast. Alyssa White is our newest member. She's been guesting on our show for a while, and we made her an official regular podcaster. She's going to be there like every 3 weeks or so. So very excited to have a female voice on the show. She's awesome. She's one of the sweetest people. You'll love her, Wayne. She's very Pollyanna like you are, so you'll like her. But if you'd like to check out that show, the website is thegamingoutsider.com.
Wait, you were breaking up a little bit. Did you say thegamingoutsider.com?
Thegamingoutsider.com.
All right, I'm glad that you were able to say thegamingoutsider.com. I myself don't have any other podcasting things directly going on, though I have been busy recently recording 20 new podcast intros for the Resourceful Designer podcast, and that was a lot of fun. Mark enjoyed those and is going to put them into the mix. We are closing in on 300 episodes of the Resourceful Designer, which means we're closing in on almost 300 different podcast intros.
Wow. Nice. Just as a reminder, we are the Unofficial Packers Fan Podcast, not yet affiliated with the NFL or the Green Bay Packers, but we would very much like to be. Please follow the Packers Fan Podcast everywhere you listen to podcasts. Give us a rating. It helps us get the word out to other fans of the Green Bay Packers out there.
Yes, the old adage of telling a friend is one of our favorite things. You can also follow us on Twitter at Packers Fan Pod. Follow Scott at GoCastScott. Follow me at Wayne Henderson. And as we wait for more players to report, it's the Texas-only Green Bay Packers fanatics' turn in rotation to send out some Go Pack Goes and to keep us focused on that Lombardi trophy that's coming home.
This is Dawn down here in Texas, a.k.a. Granny Cheese.
Hi, I'm James.
Hi, I'm Kim.
Hi, I'm Melissa.
Hi, I'm Susan.
Hi, I'm Carrie.
Hi, I'm Lisa Montgomery, and we want to say,
Go Pack Go!